In the early hours of September 26th, 1983, the world came closer to ending than it ever has before. It didn't happen in a missile silo or a war room. It happened in a quiet Soviet bunker, where one man sat alone, surrounded by blinking lights and the hum of machines. His name was Stanislav Petrov. And on that night, the fate of every living human being rested in his hesitation. The Cold War was a standoff built on fear. The United States and the Soviet Union had enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet several times over. Inside the Soviet Union, paranoia ran deep. After the NATO exercise, Able Archer, Soviet intelligence feared the West was preparing a real strike. To watch the skies, they built the OCO early warning system. Satellites that could detect missile launches in seconds. On September 26th, Petrov was the duty officer at Serpukhov 15, a top-secret command center. His orders were simple. If the system detected an American launch, confirm it and report immediately. Within minutes, Moscow would retaliate with full nuclear force. It was a job that demanded trust in machines, but Petrov trusted something rarer: his own doubt. Just past midnight, the silence broke. On his monitor, one missile detected. Seconds later, 4 more. The system screamed, "Missile launch confirmed!" The bunker filled with the sound of warning tones. Red lights flashed. The computer's decision was clear. The United States had launched a nuclear strike. Petrov knew the protocol. Call his superiors, confirm, and the Soviet Union would respond. But something didn't feel right. He stared at the numbers. 5 missiles, too few, too clean, too perfect. His instinct whispered what the data could not. It doesn't make sense. Petrov hesitated. Not out of fear, but reason. He imagined the unimaginable, 5 nuclear warheads crossing the sky, when thousands existed. If they attacked, he thought, they'd send everything, no? Not 5. He made the decision. He called it a false alarm. He refused to report it as an attack. Every second that followed felt like eternity. If he was wrong, missiles would strike within minutes, and his hesitation would cost millions of lives. He waited. 1 minute, 5, 15, nothing. The earth remained silent. Later, investigators discovered the cause. A rare alignment of sunlight and high-altitude clouds had reflected into the satellite's sensors. The system mistook that reflection for the heat signature of missiles. Petrov's skepticism had saved the world. But in the Soviet Union, there were no rewards for disobedience. The incident was classified. Petrov was reprimanded for not following protocol. He left the military soon after. He lived quietly in a small apartment near Moscow, alone, forgotten, and largely unknown. Years later, after the Cold War thawed, the story surfaced. Historians called him the man who saved the world. But Petrov never believed he was a hero. In an interview, he said simply, "I was just doing my job." There were no medals, no parades, just the quiet dignity of a man who had chosen to think instead of react. On that night in 1983, the fate of billions hung in a pause, a breath between data and decision. Stanislav Petrov listened to that silence. And because of it, the world kept turning. Stanislav Petrov died in 2017. Few people noticed, but every sunrise, every heartbeat, and every sound of life is a quiet echo of the night he refused to press a button. The night the world almost ended, and one man stopped midnight.